Hello everyone, welcome to our third video in the Cherbourg campaign series. Today, Ben's forces have moved from Saint-Mere-Église up here to Montberg, at which point he's going to be attempting to prevent the escape of German units from rushing backwards to reinforce Cherbourg. And you can see all that on the map here. And I will drag this off to the side while Ben gets you guys all up to date on what's going on with the mission.
Yeah, so here we have the town of Monteberg, which this really does create an exciting mission here for Prevent the Escape. Monteberg gives you a little bonus of my two-player soldiers, the artillery and my infantry, start with an extra card just to give me some more options. And then the mission card is also exciting. It has the special note that at the end of each of the turn, one of these hostiles should be moving towards the objective, making their way to the escape. And so by the time I get to this objective, there should be a mass of 2 or 3 guys there already waiting for me. So hopefully I am able to take out the 9 XP of hostiles before the horde takes hold. So, starting this mission off, we have 11 turns here, and a huge reward of 27 hero points and 15 gear points at the end of this. I just need to make it through these 3 levels of locations and the objective. So, let's start out with moving into the bombed out town, this white location. So it costs an action to activate, but before I activate it, I want to use its bonus 1 supply, but none of my guys can hold supplies. So I'm going to pre-activate a rear area artillery here. I'll just leave it in the mission part. Well, there might be hostiles there. I'm going to put it right there. But that is a supply spent, and then I'm going to activate the location and get my supply back. And let's see what 3 XP of hostiles show up.
Very tricky gameplay, good job.
Yeah, I like to get the most out of my locations. Alright, looks like we have a supply convoy and a light armor that's pushed up, all up in our mission card. So this supply convoy is interesting. It's going to be giving any units at the beginning of a round fast. Now, unfortunately, they don't get this first turn because I activated the location halfway through the turn, but at the start of next turn, it'll be giving units fast. But I might be able to take out the armor before they get a chance to use it. So let's see. I'm going to activate my artillery, but I cannot shoot the tank. I'll just shoot the supply convoy. And looks like I won't need to be worrying about the fast, because that is a hit, giving me 1 XP. And then, that's my first guy's activated. Well, I still get my armor company. Let's see what he can do. That is a Vuln to the armor. And now my armor gets to go. Since that was the fast step, this is the normal step. That is another Vuln to their armor, because that 4 gets boosted up to a 6 and then a 7, easily overcoming their 5. And then for my final attack, still not quite enough, because these Vulns add 2 each to that 2, so up to 6, not quite a 7. So just a lot of Vulns on that tank so far. So I should be able to kill it, but it will get an attack on my armor first. It shouldn't hit me. It'll only hit me on a 4+ on its cover. So, no defeat cover there. It just gets up to a 4, and a 5 is enough to hit, so it does do a Vuln. And I'm going to try and take out the rest of it. So my mechanized is going to go... that's... I think that's actually a hit, a 1-1. My mechanized adds 1 to its pen there, and then 3 more penetration for each of the Volns, and then 1 plus 6 is 7, which gets me up to my hit number. So this tank has been beaten down and worn out enough that no matter what my mechanized does, I can score a hit. Alright, now for the second action, I'm going to push my mechanized forward so it's ready to advance into the next area. And discard these 2 cards. Okay. And then the infantry should be able to take out the tank. Okay, a 3 plus 6 gets me up to my hit, getting me 2 XP from this destroyed tank. One of the things I like about the campaign system is playing these later missions when there's white locations. You really do just roll through them, and it's really just there to get you some bonus XP and yeah, just see how far you've come from the beginning of the campaign. Ooh, but 4 entrance cost is quite brutal. I think I'll need to basically, yeah, discard a whole bunch and then do a discard and draw after. 1, 2. And that's the turn. Yeah, I think I'll save all that for next time. Okay, so down from 11 turns down to 10. 2 is also in this location. And everyone gets their actions back. Okay, and now first thing, I'm going to activate these hedgerows. Ooh, and these hedgerows, they have a special ability where they add 1 to the entrance cost for each of the hostiles in the location. Let's see what we draw, who's in the location. Ooh, it looks like both of them are in this location. Oops. Okay, so this entrance cost goes up to a 3, from a 3 to a 5. And yeah, now I'm really regretting my not bringing any engineering companies, because this hostel has a fun note where they're bridge defenders, but if I have engineers, I can kind of go around them and reduce the entrance cost of the hedgerows, or I could reduce the entrance cost by plowing the hedgerows down, giving me a whole bunch of options, but I would need those engineering guys to take advantage of them. So for this, let's start with the artillery. Making some artillery attacks. I attacked with the artillery last turn. I should have gotten rid of a supply. Now for an attack versus... I think I'm going to attack the armor, because these infantry bridge defenders are immobile, so they're really just holding down this area. This is the armor is what I have to worry about. But with a cover of 7, low chances of much happening. But that is 2 Volns from the artillery attacks. And unfortunately, I can't attack with the armor company because I'm 2 ranges away. So on to the armor. He's going to move up, paying a supply, and then attack from range. Ooh, but it is low odds. Yeah, that is a clean miss from my armor. But next turn, I should have better chances. With that, their armor goes. They're targeting my armor. And I am a little worried. With this pin on my armor, I probably should have gotten rid of it, because this armor will be adding 4 to its penetration rolls, which gives it pretty decent odds of punching through my 6. I'm going to redirect 1 attack to my infantry, and then hope that the other one doesn't land. So that 9-4 does 1 wound against my infantry. I'll spend a supply to try and block it. Hey, on an 8+ I do, so I stop the wound. Fantastic. And then this armor is going to activate its special ability, paying a supply and attacking again. This time, I think I'm going to see what my tank can handle. Okay, that's really good. A 3 does penetrate, but a 1 only gets up to a 3, so that is a miss. So they remove a pin and put a pin on my tank. Okay, so the tank is acted. Now I'm going to activate my artillery company, I believe, paying a supply and launching some shells at the tank. Ooh, yeah, that hits. The artillery adds 2 to the pen rolls, so I can penetrate, and plenty on my D10 to land the hit. So 1 of the tank's 2 health is gone. And then this infantry activates, but it has no one to target, and it cannot move, so it just stays there, activated. I think I should push my infantry in. It's gonna cost a lot of 5 action cards to do it, but I think it's worth it since they have so many actions. So I'm gonna discard 5 action cards. Oop. And push number 2 in. Okay. So my infantry is going to make an attack versus. I think I'm going to try and overwhelm their armor first, and then I'll deal with their infantry. Pretty low odds, but that is a Voln onto them because of that D10 hit, but that 4 isn't quite enough. And then I'm going to do a discard and draw, just in case I get any action cards that'll help me. And then probably another attack. Ooh. In my action card draw, I got a free infantry attack. So I'm going to play that immediately, paying for my discard and draw. So attacking the armor. A clean miss. 1 more attack versus the armor. 4-5. I'm really close, but that is still just a Voln, as the 4 goes up to a 6 because of the 2 Volns, and the D10 5 gets up to a 9. So the 9 does hit, but the cover does not. Really weakening it up for the mechanized that could push in. Which I think I will do. I'm going to pay 3 action cards for the mechanized to push in. And see what the mechanized can do. Pretty good odds now that the tank has 3 Volns. That 5 does penetrate, and the 4 goes up to a 10, killing the armor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the rear area artillery went away since I didn't use it last turn. Oops. But could activate another one. I think I'll wait until next turn. I'll see if I need it. Okay, on from turn 10 to turn 9. Oops.
Oh, and at the end of the turn, that remaining infantry guy retreats 1 towards the objective.
Yes, he goes from the hedgerows to the old town, slowly running away as, yes, this is the first time that a hostile has been alive. But honestly, that's pretty good because that means he won't be able to attack me since he is immobile. And I will probably just spend this turn moving everybody up. Okay, so first off, my artillery is going to spend a action to get a supply, and then spend an action to move, spending a supply to move the armor company along. He needs 4 discards, which I have right here, to get in. Then I'm going to activate my infantry doing a discard and draw. Takes a lot of action cards to keep this squad moving through these higher level locations. I'm really feeling the increased entrance cost. I need to level up my guys some more to get them some more movement. Okay, and then I'm going to get some supplies back from my infantry. Oops. Your action comes back, so does yours. For my armor, I'm going to remove one of the pins, and then the other action will be spent moving, paying a supply, and paying a entrance cost. I will pay this way. And then my mechanized hangs out as usual. Not much to do as a squatty unit. So that is the end of turn 9 on to turn 8. And this unit yet again runs away from me, hanging out in the objective. So now it's time to activate the Old Town, costing me 2 supplies to do so. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pay the 2 supplies from my small supply depot and activate it from my artillery. So the supplies up here have been paid. Now it's time to draw the 6 XP of hostiles. So I have a field gun here, a fun small piece of artillery, a 3 XP infantry squad, got a bit of health, and a mechanized, which we'll put right here. But all of these hostiles are in the Old Town. So time to start dealing with them. The artillery is first, or the field guns are first, and the mechanized is last. And none of them have gone. So let's see if my artillery can take out their artillery, which they cannot because they have no supplies left. So I could spend the last supplies in my supply depot, but I am really worried about this Old Town. Sorry, this prevent escape, since I only have 2 turns to eliminate 9 XP of hostiles, and that is going to be a big time crunch. So this battle might take a little longer, but I need that battle to go quick. So the field guns are targeting my fewest pins. I'm going to have them target my mechanized. A 1 is boosted up to a 3 because of the field guns are penetration, which does not penetrate, and a 7 doesn't hit. So thank goodness I didn't have any pins on this guy. And they only get 1 action. So they have acted. And now I can have any of these guys go. I'm gonna start shooting in with my tank, but I'm torn because there's some infrastructure here, which could be very helpful. I think I might run into Old Town with my tank, and hope all goes well. So I'm going to spend 2 supplies for this support move card. So my tank can actually move in to a new location for free, and then I'm going to discard 2 action cards to let him. Thank you. So my tank rushes in, pays the entrance cost, and now has 2 actions to take out whoever he likes. I think I'm going to try and target the mechanized and eliminate him before he can go. So that 2 penetration goes up to a 4, but a 3 is not enough, so that is just a Voln. And then one more time. All right, there we go. That 7 gets boosted up to a 9, almost a 10, but not quite one-shotting him. Okay. Then they get to go. This infantry ends up targeting my armor, but it shouldn't do too much since I have a cover of 6. But let's see, it does have 3 attacks. So that is just a Voln, because the 1 doesn't penetrate, but the 5 hits. And then they go again. That 4 does penetrate and hit, so that's 1 wound onto my tank. And then they have 1 more attack. Ooh, a 6-7. That is unfortunate. But it happens when you play a little aggressively, pushing into the enemies. And when the infantry gets a little lucky, but it shouldn't slow us down too much. Next, I'm going to push in with my infantry. I'm going to do a discard and draw. I need to discard 4 action cards. I get to keep 1 of these. I will keep this free infantry attack. And my infantry moves in. And it's going to attack twice. On the mech. 6-1. That is enough to pin because I hit on an 8 and this Voln adds 2. I'm gonna do the free infantry attack to attack again. That 2 defeat cover does hit because now I'm adding 2 to my cover because of the Volns. But the hit number doesn't hit, so that's another pin. And 1 final attack, this time adding 6-3 to my dice. Oof. And the 1 result that doesn't work, a 1, another pin. But I'm going to pay a supply and activate my artillery to finish him off. Okay. That is a kill on this mechanized, preventing him from going. And 1 step closer to the objective. Okay. I probably should have done that in a slightly different order so that I left some action cards for my mechanized to get in, but I have no action cards any longer. So the turn ends down from 8 to 7. I'm going to pay to retain my support move, and everyone refreshes.
And which of those 2 units in Old Town retreats to the objective?
I'm going to roll a dice. On a high, the field gun does. On a low, the infantry does. So that was for the 1. Here, I'll just roll 1 die, just for clarity's sake. So a 6, the field gun does. It runs 1 back, and it will be shooting at either 2 or 3. In this case, 2, because it's targeting the fewest pins. Let's move that where it's visible. Okay. So, my artillery goes first. But it's kind of out of range. I think I'm gonna try and move it up. I'm gonna have it do a discard and draw, getting 3 action cards, but I'm gonna discard 3 action cards. So it moves up, discards and draws, spends a supply for the armor company. And now, actually, the armor company can attack, but first, their first guy gets to go. The field guns on my infantry. A 2 is a miss, but because my infantry has such low cover, they automatically penetrate, putting a pin on my infantry. Now, my armor company activates, shooting at the veteran infantry. Doing a wound. Good job, armor company. This infantry has a whole bunch of supplies here, and it is going to be using them to shrug off as many wounds as possible, but not this one, as it needs a 6 or higher to actually succeed. Okay, now it is my turn. I think I'm going to have my infantry go, since it has so many more actions. So first, an attack action. All of these are hitting on 8s, 2s, so that is a Voln, since I defeated their cover. They're going to spend a supply to stop it. They do. Oops. And then I'm going to keep on attacking, and they're going to keep on blocking. That is a miss. I'm going to go again. A 7-1 is a Voln. They're going to try and block it. A 7, they do. I'm going to do a discard and draw for my last one. 3, 4, 5. All right. Plenty of good stuff. Okay, then they activate. They're targeting low manpower, which would be my tank, since it has the lowest health. I'm going to spend 1 supply to redirect the first attack to my infantry. So on an 8-4, that's 1 wound to my infantry. And then they're going to send 2 attacks to the tank. That's a Voln, since they didn't defeat cover. And a wound. My tank is hanging on by a thread here, but it's still up, it's still active. I'm going to activate my mechanized first, though, discarding 2 cards to get it in. Okay. And it moves in for free because of support move, so it's going to do 2 attacks on the infantry. They spent their last supply defending against me, so that is a Voln to them. And then another attack. That is a wound. Okay, now my tank activates, and I'm going to spend 1 XP and then a 2nd XP to play really accurate fire here with an upgun. So I'm adding 4 to my tank's attack roll, and then another 2 because of the Voln. So if I roll a 6, this infantry takes 2 wounds and is dead, gaining me 3 XP. And there's no way for it to retreat back into the objective now. Okay, discard that. And now we're done with turn 7, on to turn 6. Okay, I'm going to activate my artillery, gain a supply, spend a supply to attack their artillery. A 5/6 is just enough to do 1 wound, which is all I need. Killing their artillery, gaining an XP. I spend the supply, and that's that. So now I need to prepare to be able to take out this objective in 2 turns, which is going to be pretty tricky because of how wounded my tank is. But I have a few things I can do to prepare. First
Yeah,
turn,
you
I'm
also
gonna,
have a couple turns, to spare to hopefully
yeah,
maybe get some damage control.
plenty. So I have 4 turns to spare. So basically, I'm going to get 4 actions. I'll spend 2 of them to remove Volms, another one to get a supply. Actually, I will do this kind of one by one, so that way I'll see what action cards I draw. Yeah, you're not going to do anything. So it's really just my player soldiers and everyone. So that's on to turn 5. You are going to get 2 more supplies. You are going to remove your Volm and do some discarding and drawing. Okay, so I want to keep these 2. I'm going to get rid of that so I don't have to pay the retain costs. Okay, so I'm going to get 4. I'll just draw a whole bunch of action cards and kind of take what I need. I'll take a free army move and an accurate fire. And then my artillery will also be doing some discarding and drawing, and my tank is going to do another pin remove on to turn 4. I'm going to get my artillery a hand of cards.
Oh, and at one of these points, I'd say advance your mechanized into the old town along with your artillery. Well, I guess artillery doesn't need to move.
No, yeah, you're right, though. The mechanized gets in at some point, and I'll do another discard and draw with my infantry to pay for it. I can get a 4th supply for my infantry. And then I'm going to get a supply for my tank. Turn 3. So this is my last one. I really want it's like a supply convoy action card. I guess I did just get a make do for my infantry, so I will play that for my tank. Oops. And that is all of the action cards I get. So now everyone is mostly removed of Volms, filled up on supplies. My tank is still struggling a little bit, but I'm going to have him hold back in the old town, kind of shooting from range. Oh, I also forgot to get my infra from this town since I didn't shoot into it too much. I think I only get 1 since I think I took a shot with my artillery. But on to prevent the escape. Turn 2, everyone gets their actions, and I'm going to pay an XP to activate. I'm going to spend 3 supplies to play a support attack. So my tank and mechanized get an attack action. And let's draw hostiles. So I get 9 XP hostiles. Here's a 3, a 4, and a 2. Here, we'll put this on this side. And all of these hostiles are in the prevent escape. Except for this infantry who's in my armor's location, kind of ambushing. And they have one guy who's first, one guy who's last. So I'll keep an eye out for them. Probably, I might be able to take out their first guy with my artillery. But we will see. I'm going to spend a supply to attack their mechanized with my artillery. A 4-5. Just enough to do a vuln against them. And then I get to attack one more time. A 2-4. Ooh, I think another vuln. Okay, so not quite. So then they're going to spend their one supply activating their ability for a ranged attack against my highest MP guy, which is my infantry. So they're making 2 attacks versus my infantry. The first one is a vuln, since they don't hit, but they do remove a pin because they missed. And then they attack again, doing a 6, which is enough to wound. So they put a wound on my infantry. And now my armor company gets to go. They have acted. I'm going to be shooting at the ambushing armor. Guaranteed to inflict a vuln, which I do because I did not roll a 9. Okay. Done with the fast step. On to regular activation. I'm going to have my tank go, shooting at the infantry in this location. A 1-2 is a vuln, and then a 5-6. That goes up to a 9, which is enough to do a wound. Alright, so they are in their lower stat block, and then they activate. They only have one action, targeting low MP in this location, so that would be my mechanized. So they're attacking my mechanized, rolling a 3-3. That does overcome cover, since they're adding 2 to their penetration. So that is a vuln against my mechanized. They also have a special ability of when they activate, they inflict a pin on the highest MP in this location. So I'm going to say that's my armor, because I have a choice between my armor and my infantry. I think most things are targeting my infantry. Okay, now I get to activate another person. I'm going to activate my artillery and take a shot at this infantry. Excellent shot. That's perfect. So that inflicts a wound on this infantry, lowering its stat block so it only gets 1 action, and it spends its 1 action moving 1 closer to us. And now it has acted, and it is in the same location as us. So my infantry can fully engage them. I'm going to play an accurate fire for my infantry to start it off. A 3 goes up to a 5, which goes up to a 7, which is not enough. I need an 8. But I do defeat their cover. Ooh, that's important. So for the artillery attack, they roll for their defense, they fail. And then for my pin, they roll for their defense and succeed. shrugging off my pin. But I'm going to keep whacking on him. 4, that's another pin. Can't shrug that one off. They're out of supplies. Gonna go again. That is a wound, killing this reserve infantry. Alright, I get 2 XP. And I'll use my last attack on this infantry. 8, 9. That wounds this infantry, gaining me 2 XP. 3 XP, actually. 1, 2, 3. So this mission's looking pretty good. I still have the mechanized to deal with, and the these bridge infantry are actually not required. They're not an objective hostile, so they're not a part of the eliminate hostiles I need to get through. But I'm going to drive my mechanized forward. And have it attack their mechanized battalion. Out of 5, 6. So I add 1 to my penetration for the mechanized, 1 for the pin. It penetrates. The 6 goes up to an 8. I need a 7. So that's 1 wound to the mechanized. And then another attack. Ooh, just a pin. Okay, then this infantry activates, and it's attacking my mechanized. It does roll twice, so that is a little intimidating. But it doesn't have the best attack stats. That is a clean miss. Except I have a pin on me, so that 5 goes up to a 7, which is enough to inflict a pin. They attack again. That 3 does penetrate. The 8 hits, so that's a wound to me. Okay. 1 turn left. I have to kill both of these, this hostile by the end of the turn, which I should be able to do with my artillery. Let's see. Ooh, not enough at all. That 2 goes up to a 6, which is enough for a pin, but not enough to kill. And then I spend my next action getting a supply. Okay, then that's my fast step. Their fast step goes. They're going to activate, targeting my highest MP. They activate their supply ability, which lets them target my infantry or tank. I'm going to have them target the infantry. Okay, a 1, which goes up to a 3. That is still a miss, but they do penetrate, so they take a miss off of themselves, since they miss. Sorry, they take a pin off of themselves, and then they put a pin on me. And then they attack again, but they cannot activate their supply ability, so they're just going to target my mechanized. Which scores a hit. Okay. Then I'm going to have the infantry, I guess, run up. They're going to discard 2 action cards and then do a free army move action card. So they're going to get all 4 actions when they run up, and trying to take out this last mech unit. 2-2. That's a clean miss, but I got 3 more attacks waiting. A 5-2 is a pin. I was too short on my D10 roll. But those pins are stacking. I'm up to 6. Ooh, that doesn't penetrate since that 1 only goes up to a 4, and I need a 5. But the the D10 hits, so that's another pin. I am adding 8 and 4, which means no matter what I roll, I will hit a 5 here and an 8 here. Didn't even need all those bonuses, but that is another wound to this mechanized, killing the last objective hostile, and ending the mission almost just in time. So that ends the mission, prevent escape. This unit is discarded, and I get to collect my bonuses for this mission. So let me drag over these. I have 27 hero points and 15 gear points. I took quite a few hits this mission, so I'm actually going to need to pick and choose what I shrug off because I don't have enough gear points to help everybody. I have enough gear points to fix 5 wounds. I think I'm going to have it be like this. I'm going to fix these 5 wounds. My supplies are mostly good. I'll refresh those at the beginning of next mission. And at the very least, I'm back up to my healthy stat block for these 2 units. So that is all of my gear points. And then for my hero points, let's see what high-level units I can get. I think I really want to upgrade my infantry. Looking at these 2 levels, I think I might take the 6th level infantry here because that's when he gets a movement of 2. And I'll go up from 4, from my 3 supplies up to 4, which really means 5 because of my skills. I get a better defense. I get plenty of command, so I can actually get my I can get my engineering company. Oh, I've been wanting that for a while now. And in fact, I think I'm going to leave 2 wounds on my infantry in hopes that I can use the regen ability on some locations to hopefully heal them next mission with my engineering company. So let me find that and grab it. I can only find an engineering battalion. We'll find it for the next playthrough. I'll show it to you next time, but you know what engineering does. Lots of fun, unique abilities, definitely worth it. So I'm going to spend 25 of my 27 points on upgrading my infantry up to level 6. And then for 2 more points, I believe... I think I'm going to add 1 to my artillery's move value. Just a little bonus thing I'd like to have, as every time I move the artillery, it's very annoying as I have to pay a supply and a whole bunch of action cards. This way, it's mostly the supply. But that is all 27 of my hero points, and all of my gear points, which I will add the engineering company to this infantry unit at the start of the next playthrough. But I think that about does it for the Battle of Monteberg.
Oh, great. Yeah, that came right down to the wire. And these are some very exciting upgrades. And we cannot wait to see you guys for when we play the next mission, which will be a red level mission just before Cherbourg.
Yep, only
Thank you.
2 more to go.
Yep.